Okay, my name is Radha. I'm the General Manager at FTMS Global. I'd like to greet you, all of you, a very warm welcome to FTMS Global Academy. Today is our MBA Information Session for the MBA program from MBA Ruskin University, UK. To deliver this program today, the session, we have Mr. Trevor Ward, who is the academic head for the university program for degree in MBA, who will conduct the session today for all of us. And we also have the academic head of Singapore FTMS Global, Mr. Venkat, who will run the program together with you. Okay? Can you all give a round of applause before we start? Okay, after this session, the question and answers will also be entertained here. We will seek your cooperation in keeping your questions to the end of the presentation so we can facilitate and everyone the questions can be clarified. And we also break for our meal, light meal prepared for you, and drinks. You can also take your questions during the network session and ask any of our faculty staff here, and staff will be able to help you. Is that okay? Are you okay with that? Without further ado, let me again welcome Mr. Trevor Ward.
I think that's very good of you to applaud before I've actually said anything. I hope the information that I give is going to be of use to you in helping you to decide on further education. We're looking specifically at the MBA program from MBA Ruskin University, but there are other aspects that we have to consider this evening. First of all, why should you want to do your study on that program with FTMS Global? We look at the program itself, at the university itself. I know a requirement for this program is that you already have some employment experience, but getting the MBA can widen your scope, can widen your horizons, can enable you to move positions and gain a promotion within your existing organisation maybe. We look at the entry requirements for the program. Venkat will then come along and talk to you about the modules within the program in a bit more detail. We look at the people within FTMS in Singapore who are responsible for delivering the program and looking after your education whilst you're here. And then we come to the part that everybody wants to do straight away, the fees. How much is it going to cost me and what will I get for that cost? And then, as Radha has said, there will be a question and answer session and some refreshments where further discussion can take place. Okay, I don't know how much you know about FTMS. This past year, 2011-2012, has been a very important occasion or situation for FTMS. We've been around for 25 years now. And I know many people look at Balbir, our owner, our CEO, and they look at me and they think, white hair, how? I've not been with FTMS for 25 years, okay? It really does feel as if I've only been here for a couple of years. But I've been with FTMS now for, this is year 17. So I've seen the organisation grow, expand, widen the scope of the programs that they offer, and I've seen many of the students that have been through the portals of FTMS enjoy their success and improve their careers as a result of spending time with us. We were established here, it says 86. We now operate in 13 centres. I believe it's in about 11 different countries. Okay, and these are through Southeast Asia, and we have 3 locations in Africa. These are our specialisations. Going back to the roots of FTMS, where did we start? We started by delivering professional accountancy programs. And we still do. And we're still very successful at it. But we've also broadened our horizons by bringing in some academic programs. FTMS have been delivering UK degree programs at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels since 1997. So we have a lot of experience there as well. Our academic programs go through the whole range, from diploma through into undergraduate degree through to postgraduate degree. In Singapore, FTMS now has 4-year registration with EduTrust, and we're also awarded the Singapore approvals. So we are recognised, we're very stable, we're very successful. So why should you want to consider Anglia Ruskin University? When people talk about universities from the UK, one question that comes up quite often is it one of the established universities or is it a new university? Well, I have to tell you, all of the new universities are now well established. They were previously the polytechnics in the UK, and they gained their university status in 1992, which is quite a while ago. So they're now well established, and they are all successful educational establishments. When you look at the history of these, in quotes, new, close quotes, universities, what you'll find out, for example, with Anglia Ruskin, they have been an educational establishment for 150 years. Is that new? I don't think so. So they are a good, sound university. In the UK, as in many other parts of the world, they're very keen on looking at the ratings and looking at the statistics of these bodies. And if you look at some of the newspapers in the UK, you know, papers like the Times, the Sunday Times are still held in esteem. These are the papers that you read because they're the quality ones. It says here that 9 of the subjects in this programme rated as excellent by the Sunday Times University Guide. The programme is also accredited by the Association of Business Schools within the UK. A Green League. What is a Green League? These are leagues that look after, if you like, the environment. The ones that are concerned about how things are going to progress. Ranked 10th by People and Planet. The university in the UK has moved, as many universities have, they're moving away from paper into the virtual world. Now, for students on the degree programs, this provides a great benefit because it means that you can access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if you are so inclined, to look at all of the materials and facilities that are provided for you, a student, on a program with the university. Specifically for the MBA, no exams. Okay? Now, how does that affect the quality? Well, it doesn't lessen it. It doesn't lessen it, and I'll explain this a little further as we go through. Assessment is based on assignments, 100% assignment. You may think, well, that makes it a little easier. It certainly removes the tension of having to prepare for exams, but it also means you have time to review the work that you are going to submit to get the assessment. It gives you time to do thorough research and to put together an academic paper for submission. I will tell you that these papers need to be 4,000 words long, which is where part of the quality comes in. 4,000 words is no mean feat. When you come to the final paper, your dissertation, we multiply the 4,000 by 4.5 times. And you've got to do 18,000 words. Now, I think that matches up to you having to go in and do a 3-hour exam. And that's what you're going to be assessed on. You will find that the materials are all from the UK, exactly the same as students doing this program in the UK will get. The way you are assessed, exactly the same as in the UK. So you're doing a UK degree, but you're doing it here in Singapore. All of the lecturing staff on the program have been approved to deliver those modules by the UK university. So you're getting exactly the same standards, the same quality, everything identical to what happens in the UK. We have a very close relationship with the university, and we are in regular contact with them. If we fail, the university loses credibility. They don't want to do that. They want to make sure that we are successful and that we promote the name of Anglia Ruskin and their programs. So we have that close relationship. It says many of the modules on this have been designed to blend academic theory with business and management practice. Now, one of the entry requirements for this degree is that you do have a minimum of 2 years management experience. So if you've got 2 years management experience, why do you want to do an MBA degree? Think about it. This is one of the reasons. You may have that experience, but you may not be aware of how some of the tools and techniques that managers use can be used within your industry. Not everybody on the program is going to come from the same background as yourself. So we're bringing together managers from different disciplines. You will exchange knowledge with them. And so you're widening your scope of expertise. Higher roles, it may not necessarily be a higher role in terms of a promotion, but it will no doubt be a widening of the scope of your management abilities and your management responsibilities. I mentioned assessment 100% assignment. That is where you can show your professionalism and your practical abilities as a manager. So it's not just, here is an exam question, this is the answer from the textbook. You have to put down in your experience how you have dealt with a given situation. It says it's got a strong reputation for providing participants with the foundation necessary. But you're already a manager. That was one of the requirements to get in. So what this is doing is it's strengthening those foundations that you already have. How is it doing that? By putting you in contact with other managers from different types of employment, different organisations. They may say something, working in a group, they say something, you think, why don't we do it that way? And that's where you widen, you strengthen that foundation. Okay, I think we've said enough about preparing these for promotion. It's not necessarily a promotion, but it's the widening of experience. It may also be a promotion, it may be undertaking further responsibilities. It is a very practical program. Okay, you will have 8 taught modules. Venkat will go through the contents of each of those later. But each of them, there is an assignment for you to do. And that's where you can show that you are up to date. You're able to deal with the practicalities of modern business. You develop, no, develop's the wrong word. You enhance your skills on how to use tools, techniques that today's managers require. So, I suspect, I don't know because I've not spoken to any one of you yet, but I suspect that you are already looking, if not filling, some of these positions, or positions close by. But getting the MBA gives you that academic qualification, if you like, to give you that seal of approval that you have been acknowledged of being able to deal and to handle everyday situations within these areas. So, looking at these points to consider then, as a student, do you really want to do exams? No. Why not? What's the problem with doing exams? Is there a problem? Silence. It's, you know, if you ever have a noisy class of students, the way to get them to be quiet, you ask them a question. And everywhere will go quiet. Absolutely true. The reason you don't want to do exams, it's putting pressure on you for a very short period of time. But you have to prepare for that. And if you fail that exam, too late. Whereas with an assignment, you can discuss with your lecturers, you can discuss with your peer group members, and make sure that the work that you are submitting meets the expectations, the level of an MBA student. So, 100% assignment is a good thing. It is not a program that takes a long time. You do it on a part-time basis, you can complete this program successfully in 18 months. And as I mentioned before, the content of the program, the way it is delivered, the materials you are given, the way you are assessed is identical to what happens to students doing the degree in the UK. So how do we get onto this program? Well, different ways. You need to have a first degree. First degree which is second class honours or above as a minimum. Or the equivalent of that. Professional qualification which is the equivalent of that. You need to have at least 2 years management or senior supervisory experience. And when you apply, you will be expected to put down a CV indicating what your management responsibilities within your employment are. And because it's an English university, they want to see the standards of English maintained. This is very important because all the materials, the way you are going to be assessed, the people who assess you are English, working in an English university. Now, if you don't have that qualification, there is an entry route whereby if you have, I think it's around 10 years management experience, and you give a full CV, the university will consider your application for entry onto the program. I will say that although your applications come through FGMS, final decision on your acceptance onto the program comes from the UK university. Okay, now I'd like to pass over to Venkat, who's going to go through the academic calendar and the modules in detail.
clear introduction briefing from Trevor about the university as well as what kind of organization we have. Moving forward, I'll just take a brief note of it, especially the calendar and what are the modules are we covering it and how we proceed with it. So any clarifications, as we already mentioned it, we'll take them after the session. So mostly over here are part-time students. So your part-time modules will look something like this, where we break up in semester-wise and what are the modules you're going to cover it, and the number of sessions as well as the total number of duration of each and every module by itself. As earlier mentioned, we have a total number of 8 modules and 1 key project. So you will be starting it, for example, if our intake is in the semester 1, that is September starts it, where our classes are actually starting on October 2nd. So September 2012 to Jan 2013, the first week of Jan we will be finishing the semester 1. The submission as well as the exam period is on the Jan first week. So we will be doing 2 modules, one of the research methods for managers and global business reference. Following with that, the semester 2 starts in Jan to June, where we will be doing the other 2 modules. So the main reason for part-time we made it in such a convenience is like your workload will be too high. So you won't be in a position to do 3 to 4 modules like what the full-time students are looking at. So this one, it's more easy in terms of your time convenience. By the period of 4 months, you will hardly have 8 classes, 8 to 12 classes. It depends on certain modules where the duration is much higher. So one class duration is maximum of 3 hours duration. So most of the classes will be more on the case study based as well as more on the interaction side. So it will be quite both the sides participated. And as Trevor mentioned, you have different domains of people with a different backgrounds, with a different knowledge, and your assignment is put in such a way that the expertise is being tested across. So it will be a quite interesting one. So semester 3 we will be having with the July to September with the 2 modules, strategic management and business analysis project. But you see a difference in terms of we are putting the major project in 2 semesters. The reason behind this is major project is got 60 credits. Later I'll give you the breakup of the credits. 60 credits goes for the major project. So that's the reason the duration for that entire project, which you're going to do at a real time 1, will be a period of 6 months. So we started in the earlier semester where you will be doing your project proposals and it will be vetted by supervisors down here, and then once we approve it, the ARU side have to approve your project proposal in the first stage. Once the approval process is done, then you carry on with your respective project. Okay. So 2 parts you will be doing it, and it will be to the supervisor guidance. By September 2013 to Jan 2014, you will be in a position to complete your entire modules by Jan 2014. For example, if you are starting in September 2012. So this is the nutshell info as far as your part-time module is concerned. Okay, is that clear? So I don't think anyone is over here in the full-time mode, so I can skip this one. So as I mentioned it, in terms of the modules, you see this is the breakup of all the modules. Total number is 8 modules and 1 is a major project, which is a 100% weightage. One particular paper called as strategic management has 2 levels of breakup, where 70% will be an individual assignment, whereas the 25 will be on a group presentation. So this assignment is a group with internal, your group can be formed and your supervisor will put you into a group, or you can form your own groups and then you will have a live presentation. But this particular presentation is also being video will be taken and the assessment will be based on that. So what is happening is whatever we are doing over here is the same pattern that's at UK side. So we won't be in a position to say that, oh, we have done the presentation just for the sake of it, and then we say that we have allocated a marks or something. It cannot be done. Everything is followed in the procedure, everything is documented, everything is assessed, and then it goes up. So full validation, authentication is there. So here we are. So as far as the module credits are concerned, each every module has a 15 credits at the different levels. Your project, that is your major project, which is a total of 60 credits. So this is the highest weightage, which just gives you the main credential. To get your final degree, you should be having at least around 180 credits to pass on. But there is an exist mode where at a different stage, the different credit ratings, you can get your certificates, degree level or cert level, which I'll go through it later on. In a nutshell, I don't want to go on a brief mode and explain it, but the topics which you're going to do it, the 8 modules along with the project, in a nutshell, we just want to highlight it. One will be your organization behavior, which in this particular paper, when you look into it, the assignment, you'll have a one single question. Well, it becomes a question mark. One single assignment with a one line of a question. What is that? Very simple. They'll ask you, the organizations which you work, wherever you work, I need to know what's the organization behavior pattern that is being used in your own organization. Can you come up with a write-up? On the subjects what you're learning it with the different models, use the models, use the framework, and apply that to the assignment and come up with your write-up. So that's a kind of an interesting one where each and every specific part needs the work experience comes into the picture. And that is the reason where all the modules has a different kind of a blend. It's not like specialization like MBA, we say only finance, or MBA, only marketing, or MBA in terms of accounting or business management. Our MBA, the modules, has a blend of finance, marketing, management, and global business studies. So it's a nutshell with so much of info put together for you to have a blend with a much more higher weightage. Like for example, global business fitness. This particular paper is more towards in terms of what's happening in the latest market. During our class time, we talk about what the G7, G20 is doing, what the BRICs, nations are doing it, and what's all goes on. So it's more on practicality compared to theoretical modules. So use the framework, Global Business Fitness Framework, which is more popular in the market. How to use this framework and what's happening in the industry with respect to the downturn markets. We analyze it and then we put forth to it. So likewise, we have a marketing management, which more focuses on the marketing area. We have a strategic financial analysis, which is again a very quite interesting paper where you have 3 companies of your choice need to do a financial analysis for a period of 5 years, statistical data, and then put together in a cumulative pack, use the models and frameworks, what you learn in the class, and then you come up with the assignment. So every module, if you look into it, has its own unique features, which is more attractive in terms of having you a confidence. You might be a marketer, but you might not be in the financial sector. But this paper or this module, in terms of the MBA, the program, has a blend of all the flavors put together in one nutshell. We have a research method for managers. This is a very interesting paper where it makes you the foundation for your major project. Because few might not have any idea about how to write a dissertation or a project or an article or a journal so far. But this particular paper, which builds you in terms of how to make this and how to write a proposal, how to make sure that to lead into the final papers. So before the projects, this paper will be covered to emphasize more on in terms of how you build on your skills, what you learn, and then how you prepare your project proposal at the end of the day. We have a decision making and a problem solving unit. This is again goes on more towards the accounting kind of paper, which will be more emphasizes on. They give their particular company, it depends on the module tutor down there, select a particular live organization, come up with the 5 years of data they gave you, and then they ask you to work on the live data. That's a quite interesting task, and it's a real tough situations in terms of for you to do the statistical analysis and come up with a real-time scenario. We have strategic management, then we have a business analysis project, and then finally your dissertation project. When you look into the business analysis projects, this is the key part in terms of strategic planning as well as the financial implications of the company. So here again, live data, live company portfolios will be taken in terms of the business angle. So what strategy they have been following it in terms of the corporate level, and what kind of a strategy in terms of the marketing level they are doing it. Do a comparative study, and then you come up with a business proposal. So you have a blend where it makes the managers to feel that you are nowhere left out in any one particular domain of your knowledge. We test you in each and every part of it. Finally, major project. Here we have the option in terms of the person's individual domain knowledge or expertise. If you are in the finance, if you are in marketing, if you are in HR, or any other business related one. So here they have an option. You can select your topic of your choice, and then you can come up with a presentation accordingly. But your supervisor will be in a position to help you out, to guide you throughout the entire topic phase. So as Mature already mentioned it, assignment is 100% coursework based. And constantly we do have in terms of interaction sessions. We also have CEOs dialogue sessions where we have all these facilities for the MBA students where once in every quarter we bring in some CEOs of different companies, come down here, have a direct talk to you, and then exposure. So that it's a blend of learning environment where we are being more towards the focus of what the market needs are. So as I mentioned, there is a different levels of credits where you can break up and then you can get the award according to it. Like for example, with some kind of a work commitment, you are overseas and then you are not in a position to finish the whole module. In that case, depends upon the credits, what you have got it, you will be given the certificate. Like at a level of 60 credits, if you have done it, like 4 modules, you will be given a postgrad cert. Postgrad diploma under a 120 credits. And finally, at any point of time, the 180 credits gives you the final MBA. Okay. And the certificate, you can say it's directly from ARU with their Vice Chancellor signature. So most of the queries will be coming down in terms of the final certification, where the students ask whether I have done in Singapore. That means that the certificate will be provided with some kind of FTMS logo or FTMS seal on it. Most of the queries comes up. But it's totally from ARU. The certificate is authenticated from their side. We don't have anything. You just conduct the program down here. What you do it is the similarity, the same thing, what the UK pattern, they do over there. And the certificate is directly been issued from their side. So these are the faculty members, those are in there. Of course, I am one of the faculty members who will be handling organization behavior and global business fitness. And Casey Wong, he will be on the strategic management and financial analysis. And Suman Ganguly, he will be doing the decision making and strategic financial analysis papers. And apart from these 3 members, we do have external faculty members. Those will be flying from KL, one of our partner branches, time to time. And all these lecturers are having a highly qualified one in terms of as indicated. Minimum qualification is a master's with 10 years of work experience with industrial experience, and Casey Wong is a doctorate along with it.
Okay, I get called back to the front.
Yeah, that's you get a bit hole here.
Okay, so advantages that you'll gain by taking the program with FTMS. 1, part-time, 18 months of study. If all the assessment is done through coursework, that means if you organise yourselves into study groups, there is no problem. And the 18 months will fly past. No exams, we've mentioned that. Location. I don't know where any of you work, but I suspect that you work in or close by to the city centre. Therefore, accessing the centre for the degree programme becomes very easy. This is one of the things that FTMS has concentrated on, is positioning its centres in the city centre that makes it easy access for the students. And then lastly, payment options. There are payment options. If you have a UOB credit card, then you can pay by installments. Very, very simple. Rather than you having to pay the amount that will be shown shortly in one lump sum. I now pass over to Ms. Gent, who is going to talk about fees and other nasty subjects. Which you already do.
Okay, so our course fee structure. Our course fee is 15,000. Okay, but at the moment we have we call it promotion. For the first 100 approved applicants, we waiver the registration fee $321. Okay, and then we also have discount $10,000 for whose applicant who apply for September and October intake. And then the choice of new iPad or notebook. Either it's not both, so either iPad or notebook. So then we also accept easy installment option available using your OB credit card for 12 months. Okay. Okay, so the application process. Okay, so the student need to fill up the application form, and then okay, this 321 we waiver for October and September intake, and then you need to provide us with this educational certificate and the resume also and the transcript. Okay, after that FTMS will issue the letter of offer, and then we will submit the document to the RU for approval. After that, we will inform the student. Okay, if they say you already have the approval, and then we will issue the acceptance letter and contract. So the student need to sign the acceptance letter, and then the contract also, then pay the course fee. So the intake will start. Okay. Okay, so we come to Q&A. So
yeah, we come to Q&A. We're on the Q&A now, please. We relax, we have some refreshments and more Q&A then. I'd just like to repeat a few things. One, FTMS has a very good history of delivering UK degree programs. The MBA from Anglia Ruskin is deemed to be an MBA executive program. As Venkat said, there is no specialisation. It covers all areas that senior management should be interested in. The fact that you will be studying with people from different backgrounds in terms of employment enhances that quite considerably. The way you are assessed, identical to students in the UK. Your final awards and assessment grades come from the UK. They do not come from FTMS. When you apply, I would request, as I request many of the students in Malaysia, Don't just fill in the application form and think that's it. Make sure you have all of your supporting documents with the application. If you don't, then getting feedback on whether or not your application has been successful will take a longer time. So please, when you submit your application, make sure all of the supporting documentation is with the application. Mention has been made about the modules, about the academic calendar, and about the payment options. The decision is yours. I believe that we offer, with Anglia Ruskin, a very good program. You always have the option, if you're exceptionally rich and affluent, of going and doing the program in the UK. But you will find the fees are higher and the cost of living is also higher. And the weather's not as good. Okay? Any questions to any of the presenters that are here this evening?
There's one part of it. In order to finish the whole master class, you need 180 credits, correct?
Yes.
So they are divided into certificate, diploma, and a master's.
Yes.
Now we have 4 semesters. So for the first semester, that means we are entitled so for at the end of the first semester we are called postgraduate cert.
No. Let me explain that a little bit better. I find it confusing as well because that's the way the university presents it. But what you can do, what the university will do is they will look at the point at which you leave the program. So, in your first semester, the maximum number of credits you can get is 60. You may stay on for the remaining 3 semesters and not pass anything else. I hope that's not the case, okay? I hope that's not the case. You're still going to pay the fees, by the way. But because you've only got the 60 credits, you're only going to get postgraduate certificate. If you then go through another 2 semesters and get more credits, so eventually you've got 120 credits, you'll get a postgraduate diploma. Okay? Based on the 120 credits you've got. If you complete all of the taught modules and pass them all, and then you successfully do your dissertation, your project, and you get the remaining 60 credits, you've now got 180 in total. And having that 180 means that you will be awarded a Masters in Business Administration from Anglia Ruskin University.
So that's not to say is that, okay, at the end of first semester,
They will, the point they look at is when you terminate the program. If, you know, the example was given, you may have to go and work overseas, so you're not able to continue the program. Now, if you know that you're not going to come back to finish it, the university was okay, the student terminated, or they withdrew from the program, they have so many credits at the next assessment board and the award board, they will say how many credits did that student have. They got 60, they get a certificate.
A student may be, have something going on, is suspended in the middle of the way.
Ah, okay. So, what you do then, you come and speak to these nice kind people over here and say, look, my employment means I've got to go away for 3 months. You take an interruption to studies.
Yeah,
you can do
I can take it across. We have an interim break, like for 6 months you can take it. And if it's a long-term extension, we have a 1-year extension. Will be given by the university. You have the form, we need to fill it, and then you need to give a justifying reason for that.
For example, you have an overseas posting and then you can't.
Yeah, that is acceptable. But only one is not acceptable is don't say that I am willing with my work and then I have a lot of work commitment. That is not acceptable. But if you have overseas or like NS or anything.
So it's not that, okay, you suspend in the middle, you have 60 credits, they give you a so-called.
They will hold on because you haven't terminated the program. Yeah, you've just taken an interruption to studies.
Yeah.
Okay. Similarly, if you are, because of your absence, you know, you got an emergency call to go up overseas or whatever, and you were not able to meet a submission date for the assignment, that doesn't mean to say you fail that assignment. What you need to do is to keep in close contact with FTMS and say, look, next week I'm going to be away for, I don't know, 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. That means I'm not going to be able to submit in time. You can get a deferral of submission. Okay? But you have to give justifiable reason with supporting documentation for that to happen. And the decision, as I said before, will be taken by the university. Okay? Any other questions? Or do you want some food and drink?
Yeah, simultaneously we can take up the question down there. Are they feeling hungry, huh?
It's up to you. You
Yeah.
want to socialise with us, then...
Yeah.
Any burning questions? Can we take one question before we break for the dinner? Anyone? If you don't have, I'm sure all of you have been given the literature of the MBA and your respective consultants have already been talking to you. So we'll continue this dialogue. Let's keep it going and let's enjoy dinner and drink at the same time. Please feel free to stay on and ask more questions. The more questions you ask, you become more clear. Okay? All of us will be here. Please approach any one of us or the respective consultant who has already been assigned to you. Okay? Let's adjourn this. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.